Okay. Welcome, great souls. Wonderful to be with you and share the practice of yoga on so many levels. We're going to start today with a reading from Affirmations for Health, Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda, a disciple of Yogananda, and started World Brotherhood colonies called Ananda villages that are wonderful yogic communities. So this power is an aspect of the divine. Power is an aspect within us. Power is an aspect of God, and human beings often associate the word power with ruthless ambition and dominance over others. But it is a misdirection of power to exert it over others for selfish ends, and a misuse of it to exert it without care for their well-being. Rightly understood, power is the ability to command our own energies. That's what we've been talking about, command our own energies. Above all, for our own transcendence, to remember to go higher, but also for the good of others. Such power is important for spiritual growth. One more paragraph here. Many people imagine that spiritual development is manifested as a sort of saccharine sweetness. The saints, however, are people of enormous inner power, before which often others tremble. Yet theirs is a power only for good. Its roots lie buried in the soil of pure love. So we'll be using this affirmation that I'm going to say now. I'll say it, and then you can either repeat it out loud or mentally. And then I'll be weaving it in a couple times in the course of our asanas. Mine is the power of the universe, channeled for my own awakening and the awakening of other souls. Let's say it again. Mine is the power of the universe, channeled for my own awakening and the awakening of other souls. And then the prayer is, help me to feel that power runs through my veins, courses through my thoughts, and sets my feelings afire with love for thee. Okay, affirmation of power, the right use of power. We'll get into our breath and movement practice. I'll keep hydrating. And very good. All right. So sitting comfortably. Notice which foot wants to come in front. Move down through the sit bones. Really feel the low back, the low belly. Okay. The power center, the third chakra, is in the solar plexus here. So as we inhale, we're going to be conscious of the belly breathing, the ribs, and the solar plexus. Of course, the breath comes into the upper chest as well, but then exhale through the mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Notice the energy. You can draw the navel toward the spine to contract and release out the excess fire of the third chakra, get it regulated. Inhale, belly, ribs, solar plexus. Of course, the upper chest expands as well. If you want to exhale through the mouth, you can, or the nostrils, letting go. We can't control. Navel toward the spine at the end of the exhale. Do a couple more of these. Starting always with that full yogic belly breathing. Solar plexus, upper chest, and heart expands. At your pace, at your timing, may be different than mine. Releasing. We're going back and forth with expansion and contraction with every breath. Inhale, opening up, exhale, there you go. And now start to walk your hands out in front of you. Walk, 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 walk. Oh, yeah, we could switch legs when we go to the other side. So lifting off the wrists and just start to walk your hands over toward that right knee, over to the right side, breathing consciously, feeling the intercostal spaces of the ribs, especially on the left side, expanding. Meditating on the sound of the breath and the opening of the body. And that life force within us, that power, that right use of power, energy, coming back to center, lengthening out, and walking over to the left, walk, 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 and open up the right side. It's almost like a half moon on seated. Feel the right side ventilating, the ribs opening and allowing. Always returning in yoga to what's already whole, already free, already aware, a consciousness within. And walking over to the center, open to look pretty wide. Stands there, walk, walk, walk. And start to walk your hands back towards you. Very good. Down. And then extend the legs out in a V. Move the cheeks side to side. So this is a different type of hippopreneur that I just learned. I've been enjoying a lot. We're going to bring our hands to the heart, and we're going to come forward again, halfway, not all the way. Elongate just to get that sense of elongating, and then coming back, and then bending the knees. If you're on your mat, it's probably going to move around a little bit. And then we're going to turn to the side. Okay, so it's almost like a little bit of a pigeon here. And then our right hand and our left knee is we're going to twist. And inhale, come back to center. So twist again, bringing the gunk out. Oh, physically, mentally, emotionally, and then back. This 3 times, twisting. The only difference is when we come back now, before we go to the other side, we're going to extend those legs out, face that left leg, and do a forward fold. So hands to the heart, spiritual eye, crown of the head, reaching forward, feeling the toes back. First, the spine is elongated, and then we melt down with the upper body. Of course, the hamstrings are still working. On this left side, just notice the left lunar side, that witness observer, awareness, without judgment. Breathing in, breathing out. Just feeling maybe a sense of calmness and peace with the upper body, extension through the hamstrings, energy moving. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the head, and sweep the arms up, soften the shoulders. And we'll go to the other side by bending the knees and twisting to the right side. Okay, add that twist now. Take the left hand on the right knee and twist the tension out. Our body loves twist, and then inhale back. Feel the difference on each side. And you twist and turn and breathe. And And then back to center. Draw from the core, draw the knees up. Extend into the V. Facing that right leg. Twisting the upper body. Hands to the heart. Spiritual eye. Round. Reaching out. And with the straight spine, take your time. Think of your chest reaching toward your toes. And then when you're ready, folding over. Forward folds are all about calming the nervous system. So this right side, you'll feel a lot of energy through the hamstring as well as the left. Keep energy through that left heel as well. But just like we do in our standing pose, see if you can just allow yourself to relax and cast aside any unnecessary worries or mental burdens. Returning to peace. That's one of the aspects of divinity, peace. Inhale, heart lifts, head lifts. And sweeping the arms up, elongate, and feel the space all around you. So have that other foot in front, as we sit for just a couple breath cycles here. Maybe bring one hand on the right hand on the belly, the left hand on the heart. Exhale completely. Full yogic breath when you're ready. Belly, ribs, heart expands, crown expands. And then exhale through the nose or the mouth, let it go. In the opposite direction, heart, ribs, belly. Emptying out unnecessary burdens. Breathing in. Perhaps a quality of peace. Strength. And then releasing by bringing the knees in. And into our vinyasa flow series. So just again, I like the, you know me, I like the blanket for the knees. We're going to do a forearm pat. So we'll measure by reaching our hands to our elbows and our forearms down. Okay, knees and hips fairly 90 degrees there. So first you're rounded back. And then the scooping out. The inhale, the low, mid, upper back, eye gaze up. Do this a couple more times. Exhale, rounded cat. Folding in, yin. Even though we're stretching, going in, and then yang. Still connected to our center as we go out and expand. And then restoring, coming back in. Being connected as we go outward. All right, now we're just going to add a cat kick. Draw that left knee into the center line. Draw the right knee toward the forehead. It's not going to touch. And then that right leg extends. Take your time. Reach through the heel. Press into the ball of the foot. Continue to open that hamstring. And then come forward with the upper body a little bit and lift up. Look at the thumbs or between the elbows and the wrists. Okay, we'll go into more of a flow here. Round, extend out, and then lift up. Power the breath. Folding in, extending out. The right use of power and care for others. Slowly lower. Before we go to the other side, let's do a forearm down dog here. Okay, so we're gonna lift the tailbone, walk the feet in most likely. Let it out, keep magnetizing the heart toward the thighs. I like to big exhales as one heel draws down. Peace, calmness radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Let the knees touch down. Bring that right knee a little bit closer to the center line. And here we go. Left knee toward the forehead, not touching. Left leg extends, reach through the heel. Really get that hamstring as open as possible. And then upper body lifts forward, leg lifts up. And we'll do 2 more of these. Exhale. In. Extend. Long. And feel that right use of power. Again. Extend out. And then lowering down. And if you like the forearm down dog, do another forearm down dog. If you'd like to switch to regular down dog, just bring your hands in. I'm going to stay with the forearm down dog. It's calling you today, in this moment anyway. And treading it out, magnetizing the heart. With the thighs, open through the palms of the hands. This is great forearm down dog if you have any wrist stuff going on, it's too much to be regular. But affirming that calm, peaceful energy, radiating through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. Okay, from here, step your right foot back, then your left, come into forearm plank or regular plank to come down. And then the hips touch, uncurl the toes. We're going to rock side to side, hydrating the shoulders, the scapula, empty body, for all you can do. And then bringing the elbows by our side, the forearms by our side. We're going to do an inhale and pulse up with the right leg, upper body, recharging the spine gradually. Inhale, exhale. Left leg, upper body, pulses up, recharging the spine. And then we're ready for perhaps full cobra or partial cobra, Bhujangasana. Is expanding into the opportunities of this day as we rise up, inhale, maybe on the knees, maybe off the knees, shoulders away from the ears, 3 lion's breath. Stick out the tongue, eye gaze up. Open to greet this day. And knees touch down. Folding back. Now we're ready for our extended classic down dog. Hovering, activate the core, and then push in through the heels. I'm going to add more of a figure 8 in the hips. That's feeling good to my body today, right now. Tune in to the flow, movement, sound, sensation of the breath. If you want to ripple a little bit now, in the spine, you can take it bigger, you can make it smaller, wave-like energy. And then stepping the right foot forward. Then the left, then the right hand, then the left, eventually walking back. You can either rest the palms at the hollows of the elbows or Padahasta Asana,
Bring the palms of the hands underneath the soles of the feet. Either way, we're going to exhale and draw the navel to the spine. And my elbows here. Again and again, release any burdens that are unnecessary to hold. Turning to our true soul nature, already whole, already free, already aware. And then we're going to release the hands, and we're going to rise up either with a rounded spine or a straight spine, affirming that long affirmation. Nothing on earth can hold me. My soul, like a weightless balloon, soars upward to the skies of eternal freedom. So the soul nature is expansive, soaring upward to skies of eternal freedom. And then feel the space all around you. And just let yourself root down. You can really feel supported by the earth. And back to our full yogic breath. If it helps to place a hand, whatever you like. Just let the energy rise on the inhale. And then root down on the exhale. Moving more and more into our true soul nature. Joseph Campbell said that the mind is a secondary organism. There's usually it's the primary running the show, right? And of course we need it, and it's vital and important, but it's a secondary organism. The consciousness, whatever that means to you, is much bigger, much more expansive, and of course contains the mind, but it's not just limited to this individual self. So if you tune in to this expansive consciousness, your soul nature, whatever words work for you to get bigger to presence, that's where we're free. Okay. Got another sip of water here. And we can encourage you to do the same. We got some lights ready to turn on. Okay. All righty. So we're going to get into our standing pose flow. We're doing some warm-ups, and of course, each pose has so many wonderful benefits, but we're going to go into more of our strengthening warrior series. So what I'd like to start with is turning this direction into our Virabhadrasana 1, into our warrior 1. So you can think of this as a classic flow if you have a certain amount of 20 minutes to do this. You're going to lift your right leg up. That's a moment of balance. And we're going to step that right foot back. Spin the foot 30 degrees, left hip back, right hip forward, tailbone down. See how much we could root down. Okay. Inhale, arms expand, heart expands, reaching up. Exhale, affirming, I attune my will to the source of all power. Reach up again. I attune my will to the source of all power. One more time. Breathing in. I attune my will to the source of all power. Bring the forearms toward one another. Lift the arms up. It's a little tricky on that left knee. We're going to go to our Virabhadrasana 2, root down and realign, making sure that left knee is over the second toe.
The body loves to jet forward, so have those hips and shoulders stacked. Rooting down, rooting down. Virabhadrasana 2, okay? Turn the palms up. I know this is a strong flow. It's meant to be warrior, bring that warrior out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, root down again and look over the left hand. I joyfully manifest, inhale, hands up, the power of the divine. The power of the divine is within me. I'm recognizing that, I'm letting that consciousness expand and tune into it because it's here. Open to the side and then come into your bent knee triangle. For most of us, we could stay here or maybe here. For others, I myself, I want to use a block and get that strong side line of energy going here. Couple breaths. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Opening to the joy kosha. And then slowly take and rest in pyramid pose. Walking, I remove my block to the side, turn the back foot more to face the front. You can use blocks, left hip back, right hip forward, bow to the wisdom of the heart. You might be feeling the heat of Virabhadrasana 1 and 2, then triangle, now integrating. Now into the wisdom of the heart. The legs are still strong. Again, that expansion and contraction is constantly happening with every breath, with every movement, flowing between those two all the time and in our lives. Now bending your left knee, walking our hands out to the front, toes are turning in. And we did this extension seated earlier. Feel it's the same pose, but we're standing now. With that same hamstring extension, spine elongation, breath, flowing, energy radiating from every cell of my body, every fiber of my being, healing energy. Healing energy radiates from every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Join this extension, walking your right hand back towards you, eventually underneath the shoulders. Now, turn the toes out. The knees are bent. The upper body lifts up into goddess squat. I'm going to exhale, root down, pulse it down, and then add a twist. So we're going to place our left hand is already here. We're extending that elbow, looking over the right shoulder. And then coming back to center. Ooh, pulse it. You can come up if you want, if it's too much. Otherwise, stay in the squat and twist. Extending through the right arm, looking over the left shoulder. Again, so many ways to twist. So beneficial for all aspects of our being. Root it down and come into star pose. Wide expanse, then bring it in, moving down, back to mountain. Take it in. Full yogic breathing. As we're here, I'll read the affirmation. Mine is the power of the universe, channeled for my own awakening and the awakening of other souls. Mine is the power of the universe, channeled for my own awakening and the awakening of other souls. Help me to feel that power running through my veins, my thoughts and feelings with love for thee, a devotional love. And we're going to go to the other side now. So turning wide and having your right foot face forward. Virabhadrasana 1 setup. I know we kind of approached it from a standing step back, so I guess we should do that. Sorry, we're playing as we go. We're going to lift, we're going to face with both stand facing this direction. Lift the left knee for a moment of balance. We're going to point on the floor out in front of you. We'll do a classic balance soon, but this will prep us for our balance as we track that right knee over the second toe, right hip back, left hip forward, get the foundation solid as possible. And then we rise, and then we open and expand. And attune as we exhale, elbows in line with the shoulders. I attune my will, bring the forearms together to the source of all power. Opening the heart. Inhale, reaching up 3 times here. I attune my will to the source of all power. That's it. Feel that right use of power. That's the theme of today. Inhale, reaching up, and the power. I attune my will to the source of all power. The power to help others as well as ourselves, of course. Inhale, reaching up. That's the right use of power. Exhale, tracking. Sweeping the arms wide, track that knee over the second toe. I need to realign a bit when I shift from warrior 1 to warrior 2, but the upper body slightly angled, but more facing forward. Opening up. Notice the difference on each side. Move down. Bring the palms up. And we're going to sweep the arms overhead again. Inhale. Joyfully manifesting is really feeling that divine power, the power of the divine. Joyfully manifest the power of the divine, that consciousness, whatever you call that, awareness, presence. It's here, we're quiet, and yet it's the power that's fueling your form. In all forms. Some forms it's a very awake, other forms it's sleeping. And there's a whole gradation in between. Opening up, joyfully manifesting the right use of power. And then coming into our bent knee triangle, lightly resting on your thigh, not collapsing. Reaching the arm up. And then maybe over. Bent knee triangle. You can have a block here. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Very good. Sweep that arm down. Come forward again. Turning the toes in. We're going to do it opposite. We reached our arms out. We're going to walk our hands back, wrists underneath the shoulders. Stage 1 is bending the elbows, crown of the head toward the earth, Stage 2 is reaching toward your ankles. Maybe getting a little wider. Either way, we're releasing and letting go, casting aside any unnecessary mental burdens. So we can feel that peace, the power, the divine flowing through us. Fear and anxiety is going to make that harder to feel. So we release what we can. Open to the peace and the power of the divine. All right, wrist underneath the shoulders. Heel toe it in a bit, several times. Actually, let's bring it hip width apart with the feet. Bend the knees, and if possible, sweep the arms back. Uttasana chair pose. Keep the knees bent. Pulse here a little bit. Root down. Inhale, rise up. Keep grounded. Really important this week. Inhale, pulsing up. Exhale, rooting down. Oh, I forgot the pyramid pose. Okay, sweeping down. Good thing I caught myself. So I'm going to turn around and maybe at the same direction. And I'm going to step the left foot back. I'm glad I caught it now rather than after class. Draw that right hip back, left hip forward. And just enjoy returning to the wisdom of the heart. Okay, whatever language, affirmations speak to you. Always about to return to what's here. Let's follow what's through. Say it over and over again because it's important to remember. And then, okay, we've done our pyramid, yay, done that knee. We'll come up. We were in a chair, but we're going to come up, extend the leg pose. Watch the head rise, you definitely look at the tip of the nose. Now let's swirl it a little bit. Woo. Bend the knees, circling, flowing. And then maybe shaking it out a little bit, lifting the heels. So good to release. So it's a strong flow, the 1, the 2, the pyramid, the triangle. As promised, we're going to do a balance pose. I'm going to take a sip of lemon water first. All right. We can do Garandasana. How about that? All right, so what we're going to do is bend both knees. Oh, I have to block. I'll face this direction. By the little to the side of the left foot. And just like we did earlier, we're lifting our right leg up. We're going to do the leg part first, crossing that right knee over the left. And then reaching the arms out to the side. It's not many ways. We're going to bring the opposite now, the left elbow underneath the right, if that's possible. Look like this. Amidst life storms, I find my center. Amidst life storms, I find my center. As we were saying earlier, all the challenges we're facing, we have that opportunity amidst it all to find your center, move from that center, or at least return to it at some point. Release out, and it's okay if we forget, we do. Lift up and circle it around. Now that was crossing the legs first, then the arms. I typically like to do the arms first, then the legs. There's no right or wrong. But let's notice the difference for you, what that feels like. I'm going to bring the block over to the other side. So we had an opposite, that left elbow. We're going to open up and bring the right elbow underneath. Lift the tips of the elbows if you can, or this variation. All right, and our eagle, it's flying expansively, but then focusing, bending the knee, looking at a point, a drishti point on the floor or out in front of you. Move down. Keep the tips of the elbows lifting up. Amidst life storms, I find my center. Amidst life storms, I may get unbalanced. It'll be very normal, but we can return to my center. So have compassion. We can come back. Amidst life storms, I find my center. And then I lift up and release out. Woo! Fingertips touch. And feel the space all around you. With some flow. Okay, starting the inner heat. It's just right there. Cleansing. We're gonna gradually come down. And we're gonna do that like we were doing before with our chair pose. So feet are hip width apart. Now we're coming from what's called the top down, reaching up, sitting back. Really feel the strength of the legs. Let's cut through. These things are holding us back. Here, down, insecurity. We're back to our strength, our inner power, divine power working through us. Be open to it. And then coming all the way down. And I know there's a lot on the knees. If you can, any way you can come to the floor, but if you can lift off the heels and gradually come down. Whoo. That's it's good for the knees and the joints, but it can be difficult to get here. So we're here. Then ease on down first with a little bit Pilates strength before we come to our back. So our victory pose or V pose. Lightly touch underneath the thighs. Extend the right leg, just think knee to knee. That's all we got to remember. You want to reach your arms out, you can, or keep them here. Exhale through the mouth. Switch. 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 Do this a couple more times. At your own pace. At your own timing. And then lifting the heart and rounding the spine like a little cat. But again, we're in a different position, right? It's flexing and extending. Core strength helps us shimmy, shake down gradually. Low back, mid back, upper back, pressing the feet. Sweep the arms around. And then fold those knees into the shoulders. Taking rest, conscious rest. Ironing the back body wide. Eyes could be open or closed. And then one of my favorites, the inner borders of the feet together, the hands on the knees, circling the knees away from you, and then toward the chest. 3 times in one direction, And then 3 times in the opposite. All right. Now, some of us really like figure 4, so drawing that right knee in, left foot down, rotate the right ankle. Let's do this right foot. Draw the right knee away from you, opening the hip in that triangle space. We're gonna lift off the left foot. You can have your strap by your side. Use your elbow, right elbow to open up that right hip more. If you want to extend your leg, you're welcome to it. Stay with it. That'll give you more of a hamstring extension as we do our hip opening. And again, working with the right use of power, affirming, I'll say the affirmation. Mine is the power of the universe, channeled for my own awakening and the awakening of other souls. Feel that divine power coursing through your veins, your thoughts, your feelings, opening to the divine power within you. That's yoga, that's union. Union with higher self, the divine, again, whatever language speaks to you. Consciousness, presence, awareness. Here. Releasing. Before we go the other side, let's really even do a deeper hip opening. Drawing that right knee toward the floor. I'm going to unfurl my arm here and extend the left leg. Feel those toes back. I like to hover just to keep the hamstring engaged. It tends to go passive if the heel comes down, whatever works for you. And then we're massaging the internal organs, especially the ascending colon, that digestion, that get coagulated, detoxing in so many levels here. And then we're taking it into our wonderful twist, placing the right foot down, swivel the hips to the side. The left hand reaches over and we pulse back and forth, knee and shoulder, knee and shoulder. You can stay with the knee bent or you can extend that top leg. Either way, the inner thighs draw in, the left toes rotate up. Heart wide open. It's possible to affirm in so many different ways what we're talking about here. Divine life is within me and all around me. Let that arm brush stroke up and over, head goes along through. Divine life is within me and all around me. Breathe into it, expand into it. Soften that right knee. Adjust onto your spine and fold that right knee in again. Shoulders away from the ears. Extend the right leg to the sky. Reach through. You can either reach to the heel or the ball of the foot. You want to stretch on the back of the calf more, or the front, or the shins, or both. Arms reach up, palms face one another, shoulders plug in, and simultaneously we'll stretch slowly our arms overhead. And once that right heel touches, stretch to the right side. Solar active doer, got you here. We need that aspect. And then sweep the arms out. Wide leg Shavasana. We'll do that trauma release movement, tension release movement, rocking the right foot out to the side from the hip, like a windshield wiper. Okay. Head turns to the left and center, 8 to 10 times. Releasing past traumas, we don't have to think about what they are. Tension, bilateral movement. And back to center. Before we do everything to the left, place one hand on the belly, the other hand on the heart, full yogic breath. Excellent. Draw the inner borders of the feet together, bend the knees, squeeze the knees in, release back. Plant that right foot down, rotate the left foot. The ankle. Figure four, flex through the left foot, we know this, draw the left knee away, and that triangle in space, you're gonna reach through, you can strap by your side, if you want to lasso your right ball of the foot. And then we extend the right leg, maybe not. And just breathe and leave. Staying with it. Focusing. The power, the ability to command our own energies for our own transcendence and for the good of others. That's so important for our spiritual growth. Okay, and then we're going to release and fold that left knee to the outside of the shoulder, lift the left foot up, climb up the calf. And if you can, descend that right leg. It may be too much on your back, and you need to keep that in bent. I forgot to say that, sorry. Massaging the descending colon, this left side there. Again, not just a physical digestion of the food, although that's hugely important, but adjusting all the challenges that are coming our way and to meet them with the right use of power, that divine power. And there's a strength there. There's not, again, that saccharine sweet that is the same and a great embodiment. So that right use of power for the good of others as well as ourselves. Not dominating others. As we come over then, we're going to go into our spinal twist. Deep spinal twist, plant that left foot down and bring the left knee across, right hand pulses back and forth, hydrating. I'd like to end with this twist. It feels so good. If you want to extend, you're welcome to. Either way, the inner thighs roll toward one another, the right toe lifts up, press down through that right elbow, wide open heart, as open as possible with a continued core. And then the left arm comes up and around. Divine light is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. 2 or 3 times. Softening the left knee, adjusting. So planting that foot down and then resetting the spine, coming back to the central channel, folding that left knee in, flex and extend the leg up, flex and extend. And then the arms reach up, the palms face one another, the shoulders plug in. And of course, simultaneously, slowly lowering down.
Once that left heel touches, stretch through the lunar side, the left side, the witness, observer, compassionately observing, not judging. And then softening the arms out to the side. When you're ready, you'll bring that left, letting that left from the hip through the heel, turn out to the side and center, windshield wiper. Okay. And then the head turns to the right and center, simultaneously, 8 to 10 times. There's so much rewiring our nervous system, releasing past traumas, past tensions, PTSD, and go. And then coming into the present moment again and again. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. You don't have to go to that past trauma stuff. That's the work you're doing in a specific way, but right now we're coming into the central channel. And it takes 3 full yogic breaths. When you're ready, let's all just exhale through the mouth. Slowly, belly expands, ribs, solar plexus, a right piece of power, heart, throat, spiritual crown, and then just reversing them. Hear that oceanic sound. Feel those lotus chakras opening upward in the expansive direction. They're being watered, they're being fed, they're being in the right alignment. And then tuning in to what restorative pose would feel good for you. For Shavasana, could be the classic pose here. And those are your options. Bolster your legs up the wall. If you want to break out and do one last pose, of course, feel free to do that as we get ready for corpse pose. Consciously dying to our limited ego self and expanding again and again into the right alignment. There's so many ways to say it, and that's what we're doing in our practice. And I'll get set up. Try this deeper restoration of Shavasana, taking us all in. Oh. Getting into your cocoon, I like to call it, comfort. Yeah. So just any kind of eye bags or anything that works for you here. And we'll go from the top down. With the head, just depending on your position, notice if it can ease from side to side. If you wanted to, check in. Eventually the head comes in alignment with the spine. Just feel the crown of the head opening. 1,000-petal lotus, top of the head expanding consciousness.
Something much greater here than only our mind. Letting the forehead soften, the eyebrows, the eyelids relax, the muscles, the tiny muscles and nerves around the eyes softening. And that gentle focus at the inward, at the spiritual eye. No strain. The two become one by focusing at the spiritual eye, the higher consciousness. Expansive awareness. Notice your next inhale, the cool air coming in through the nostrils, maybe even fullness of the spiritual eye. And the warm, cooked air coming out of the nostrils. And the pauses in between. Letting the jaw ease, the upper and lower jaw soften. Noticing the root of the tongue inside the mouth softening. The oceanic sound, the ujjayi sound vibrating most audibly through the throat. And the softening of the shoulders, easing away from the ears. Hearing the sounds within you. Aware of the sounds around you, but focusing within. Sensation, pulsation, streamlining down the arms. Natural bend of the elbows left and right. Natural bend of the wrists left and right. Pulsation, sensation in the palms of the hands, left and right. Energy in the form, divine energy. Already free. Already. Luxuriating in the breath and the heart, ventilating the air, floor, ceiling, sidewalls of the chest. Any churning thoughts, anxiety, offer those up to the hands of peace. Tuning into the right use of power, the aspect of the divine, healing power radiates to every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Feeling the belly, the ribs expanding, oscillating with the movement of the breath. Every breath we're expanding and condensing, contracting. It's like life, flowing with it. Ideally, at times contracting with others, but able to return to our center. Feel your back body getting heavy, the bones and muscles resting. on earth if you're resting in that direction. Sit bones, cheeks, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, all the way through the soles of the feet, left and right, releasing. Open through the soles of the feet, heels, balls of the feet, the toes. Want to rotate your ankles, you're welcome to do so. Just resting deeply. Knowing in body, mind, and soul, you are one with the omnipresence of God. Self-realization. Resting in that awareness. And if you're ready to return to movement, you could do so in your own way, comfortably, gradually, as I read the definition again of self-realization. The Paramahansa Yogananda, the knowing in body, mind, and soul that you are one with the omnipresence of God, but we do not have to pray that it comes to us, that we are not merely near it at all times, but that God's omnipresence is our omnipresence. That we are just as much a part of Him now as we ever will be, and all we have to do is improve our knowing. So resting on your side gradually, or staying in Shavasana, we will send the healing prayers to others, because that's of course, the right use of power for our own well-being and directing that toward others. So noticing perhaps the people that come into your heart that you'd like to send healing energy to. Could be an individual country or the nation itself, all the challenges so many people are facing. Well, we'll rub our hands together, if that speaks to you, or any way that speaks to you, and we'll do the 3-syllable Om sound, sending that healing power to others. Inhale. And when you're ready, bring the hands to the heart, acknowledging that divine consciousness within you and within everyone and everything. That's where we are one. Namaste. Wishing you peace and power in your day and your weeks and your hours. I will turn off the recording.